Okay. I'd like to call the Atlas Township Zoning Board of Appeals, February 14, 2019 meeting to order. It is now 6 o'clock, and let's start by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, happy Valentine's to everyone.
Thank you, you too.
I think we need a roll call of the board members.
Chair Robert DeWitt.
Here.
Vice Chair Lauren Smith.
Here.
Secretary Tony Spina.
Here.
Eric Senn.
Here.
Trevor Hayward.
Here.
Bill Marshall.
Here. Okay, next, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
And I think we need a roll call on that? No?
Just all in favor, say aye.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Right.
All same sign.
And next, we need a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting. January, what was it?
January 10th.
January 10th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for the January 10th meeting as written.
I'll support that.
Yeah.
And,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Against? Okay. Tonight, we only have one case before the board, and that's case 19-1. The applicant is Brian and Tamara Zulik?
Zilk.
Zilk, okay. And the parcel address is 1540 Rochester Road, parcel ID number 05272777004. It's a zoned residential 1R1, and the applicant is seeking a dimensional variance from the Township of Addison Code of Ordinances Appendix A. Addison Township zoning ordinance, the applicant requests a variance from Article 8.05-4, a 41-foot variance for the placement of a structure in the front yard setback. Article 8.05-4, number 4, minimum yard setback is 50 feet. Okay. And this is our meeting to deliberate the facts and circumstances, and as such, the public hearing was closed at our last meeting. And what we're going to do is ask the applicant to briefly address the ZBA about the variance request, if he has anything else he might want to add.
I have nothing to add at this time.
And I guess the board, do we have any questions or comments for each other or the applicant?
I have none.
The only question I have is, in the presentation, there was no legal survey presented that showed the easement on the property, correct?
You mean easement for the road commission?
Yes, and or the power line. I think Tony may mention that you did some research.
Yeah, the township confirmed there is no utility easement on the side of the road where this property is.
Okay, now,
Even though there are telephone poles there.
having said that, we never saw a legal survey, correct?
I don't remember anything.
I seen something, but I don't know that it was,
I think we've all seen these maps from Oakland County.
Yeah.
Which does in fact line up. But it's not an official survey.
Right.
yeah, it was just a satellite survey and a plat survey. the three parcels, that's all I have.
Okay, well, I guess the only comment I have is that this whole thing, this whole question appears to hinge on whether this object is a structure or not. If it's a structure, I think we have an obligation to go one way, and if it's not a structure, we can do some other stuff. The definition of a structure from the zoning ordinance, section 2.02, is any object constructed or installed by man, including without limitation buildings, towers, satellite antennas, smokestacks, and overhead transmission lines, but not including highways and their appurtenances. Anything constructed or erected which requires permanent location on the ground or attachment to something having such location.
Period, is that the end?
Period, that's the end. I'm going to say this, the last sentence again, because I think that's what really is everything. Anything constructed or erected which requires permanent location on the ground or attachment to something having such location. My opinion, based on your description of this light post, and what I saw when I went to see it, is that this is not permanently attached to the ground. And it weighs 4,000 pounds approximately, so it doesn't...
It is heavy, but you are correct. It can come out as easy as it dropped it
It
in.
doesn't require attachment to the ground. And based on that, I would argue this is not a structure. I did just, because if it's not a structure, what is it, is the next question. And I went through the zoning ordinance's definitions, looking for things that it might be. And it's not a fence. It's not a fence. It's not a dividing marker, barrier, or enclosure. It's not a wall, because it doesn't obstruct the vision, the view of anything. It's not a green belt. It's not a building, because a building has to have walls and a roof and stuff. There was no definition in our zoning ordinance for things like sculpture, yard art, statue, trellis, fountain, waterfall. So it's not any of those, but those aren't defined. It was interesting that landscaping is also not defined in our zoning ordinance. Word landscaping is used quite often, because in some instances, landscaping is a requirement to get an approval for a site plan or a building plan or whatever. But landscaping per se is not defined in the ordinance. I thought that was interesting. Having said all that,
Where does that leave us?
I think that leaves us,
You mentioned the word fence. What is a fence? I mean, I know what a fence is, but what is a fence by definition?
fence, any permanent or temporary partition, structure, or gate of definite height and location erected as a dividing marker, barrier, or enclosure. For the purposes of this ordinance, any structure exceeding 12 inches above grade for the above use is a fence,
So a fence is a permanent thing.
is a permanent thing.
And our ordinance says you can't have permanent things in front of yard?
Over 12 inches tall. Now, the foundation ring that this object sits on is about, certainly not 12 inches above the ground.
Correct.
I don't think it's a fence.
Nor do you think it's a structure in your opinion?
It's not a structure because it doesn't require permanent mounting day.
And how about the rest of the board? Are we in agreement with Tony? Are we going to make,
Yeah, I would agree that it's not a structure, because it is not permanently in place on the ground.
I would call it yard art.
Yeah, art, but it's not
But
defined.
that's not defined either.
So,
I mean, I have a few statues in my house.
yeah.
I don't think we want to go down that road.
Well, I agree, I mean, we're not here to...
Are they
Mostly.
Good, that's good.
But our role is not to create definitions for things. Our role is to interpret the rules, the ordinances as we're given.
Right, right. So having said that, the only question I have is with the easement. Because it's fairly close underneath the power.
Well, it's true, this thing, I don't know what to call it, is farther off the road horizontally than all the telephone poles, power lines. It's also quite a bit higher off the road vertically than the telephone poles.
Yeah, when I say easement, though, I'm not talking road easement, I'm talking about for the power line.
But there is no easement for the
There
power
is
line.
none.
No.
Okay. And we have evidence of that? That would be this map here, or?
No, I got confirmation from the township. They checked with Addison and the township.
Okay.
And there is no utility easement.
Okay, but that's the only question. I concur with what you're saying on the structure, and the only concern I had was the easement location for the power line.
Yeah, if there were potential easement on Rochester Road on that side, as there is on the street that I live on, then this would be in the utility easement, and that would be a problem. But there is no utility easement.
Tony?
Oakland County said there was not a recorded easement.
Yeah, probably.
That would suggest to me there isn't one.
They tend to be fussy about that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I could say something here. I mean, the only structure I see when you put it like that, Tony, is the footing and the manhole cover,
Right.
which, as you said, does not exceed 12 inches.
Right.
And that's my only observation. I think, yeah, that's,
Trevor, a footing, definition of a footing.
footings in Michigan had to be 42 inches below grade for frost prevention, and concrete and width to sustain the weight on it, or
I'm gonna guess this isn't 42 inches deep.
I don't think it is.
I'm not sure.
It is.
It is, yes. I thought I remembered him saying that he had dug pretty deep. Lots of rebar and steel and stuff. But again, all of that does not stick up more than 10 inches above the ground. Or 12 inches, whatever it just said. And you didn't need to do that. This object could have just sat on the ground.
It could have, yes.
You know, a little depression that just sits there.
Then, does the ordinance say that a footing has to be 42 inches deep?
Building codes.
For a
Sarah.
building, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Well,
a
this
building
is a
code.
structure.
Well, if it's a structure,
If it's a structure, you have that.
yes, but
All right.
You know, so that's under definition of structure, the last sentence states, anything constructed or erected which requires permanent location on the ground or attachment to something having such location.
There is no attachment between the base and
Yeah, that's why we're here tonight.
that's not what it is. There's no connection between the two.
The board did not require a footing either. It doesn't have to have it. And you could pick it up, move it 10 feet, it's there right there, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not call it buoy, I would call it yard art.
Yeah.
You know, like a statue or something.
yeah, statue.
Or a tower, a pillar at the end of your
A
driveway.
lamppost?
A lamp post.
Glorified lamppost? I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
That could be a structure, though.
Not if it's not
the
attached.
lamp post is in the ground.
Yeah, lamppost
And
is
it's attached.
just permanent.
Right.
True.
That's the difference.
Where do we go from here? Do we want to send it back to our building department? Someone want to,
Yeah, but under what,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
What are we gonna ask him?
yeah.
But they've already told us what they think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
it came to us.
If they
so-
wouldn't, if they didn't think it was a structure, they wouldn't issue him a citation.
right.
Right.
Well, they denied it because it's a structure in their
Right.
judgment.
And we just went through that.
In my
and
judgment-
We came to the conclusion, I mean, there seems to be agreement, first of all, that
That it's not a structure.
it's not, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
In this case, we're not analyzing the definition. We're looking at this case,
Right.
correct? So, based on the facts presented, I think we come to the conclusion it's not a structure. It's not fixed permanently. As far as the easement, the best that we can find it, there's no recorded easement of that. If that's the case, that's all we can go by. I would be inclined to make a motion.
Second. Anybody else have any more comments before we make that motion?
Nope.
So,
All right, then I'll make the motion that we grant the 41-foot variance for the placement of this, I'm not gonna call it a structure, I would call this yard art in front of the residence.
Okay. I'll second that one.
okay, any more comments or anything? Okay, then just we have
Do we
a,
need,
Well, the only comment I have is yard art could be anything in the
Right.
future. I don't know what else to call it, I'm not saying there's a better name for it,
Yeah.
but just a caution that yard art, anybody could walk in and call it yard
we
art.
don't want to call it a structure.
Well,
No, not sure.
our findings are not bound by anything.
That's true. Okay.
if I may add a friendly amendment or a note regarding the survey, lack of survey,
Okay,
and assuming there is no easement as we were told, or you were told,
Tony was told.
Tony was told, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You know, with the evidence, all the data we have, with what we have in front of us, that's what I was getting at.
yeah, I don't remember exact wording that I had, but yeah, based on what's presented to us and information received in addition to,
There you go.
is what we're basing our deliberation on. That's
Yep.
part of my motion then. To grant the motion, and based on what was presented and the additional information that we got.
Just going to make that addition to your motion. Do we
Well, I
have-
don't think it's really an addition. I think, maybe you did say that.
It's a little bit of an
Explanation.
addition, but let's just be safe. If it's an addition, I accept that as part of my motion.
And then we need a second.
Okay, I accept the amendment, yeah.
Okay, roll call vote? Yes.
Ready? Trevor Hayward,
Yes.
Eric Smith,
Yes.
Tony Spino,
Yes.
Lawrence Smith,
Yes,
Robert DeWitt.
Yes. Well, You're
It's
good.
not a structure.
Thank you.
You got a different answer.
Yard art.
Yard art, love it.
You know, the lady at the bank told me the other day, she's like, I was driving home in the fog and I'm so glad that light was on.
Well, do you use that for your driveway, more or less?
It
Just,
really brightens the driveway
Yeah.
because it's very dark down through there. So
Right.
it does help. You could, actually, there's no road light there, so it kind of lights up the road too, right there
Yeah.
on that curve. It helps.
the last light's by the fire station
Yep,
here.
up on the other curve and then one down by Yule, so there's nothing in between. So it brightens the whole area.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
Let's see, our next agenda item is other business. Anybody, do we have any correspondence received? I have none.
We got public forum.
someone from the public here, she cares to speak.
Oh, wait, Mr. Chairman, do we skip, are we doing this number 3? Approval fiscal meeting dates.
I didn't see that on the agenda. Let's see.
Number 3 on my list.
I don't have anything. That's what I have.
I'm looking at last month, sorry.
Okay.
Public forum, I guess.
Public forum? Any audience members that want to speak? Hearing none? We'll go to the, okay, other business, correspondence received. Again, I haven't received nothing. Zoning board reports? Nothing? And report of the planning commission liaison?
Everything is just normal business, nothing out of the ordinary that would interest anyone.
And that's, well, nothing else on the agenda that I see, so call for a motion to adjourn.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Voice,
All in favor, say aye.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting closed.